Welcome, people. Welcome, whoever's here, whoever's not here, whoever listens to these after I've recorded them, whoever you are. All is well. I got a few bits kind of floating around my head today, so I'll try and kind of get through everything that I've got in the back of my mind. Um, I want to read some nice quote by um, Rishi Vasishta from Yoga Vasishta. And it's very nice. I like the last sentence of this, so but it's nice to kind of have the build up of the last sentence as well. Theories concerning creation or the transformation of the self or consciousness into matter are expression used by teachers while instructing students. There is not an iota of truth in all this. When one realizes the dream as a dream, then there is joy. But if this is not realized, then there is unhappiness when one dreams of an unhappy event. The enlightened sage lives in a state of realization of the truth even while he engages himself in diverse activities. In diversity, he experiences unity. He rejoices even in unpleasant situations. Though he lives in the world, he is really not in it. What more does an enlightened person have to gain? Just as ice is ever cool, the sage lives a natural life, doing what is natural to him without aspiring for or abandoning anything. The characteristic of the ignorant man is that he strives to be other than what he is. So I really love this last quote about the characteristic of the ignorant man is that he um, aspires to be other than what he is. This really this really captures everything for me. Um, as I keep saying on these, for me, acceptance is the key point. For me, if we accept everything 100%, that means we accept ourselves 100%. We accept our own nature, our own tendencies, everything about ourselves. We accept all of that 100%. We accept others, both others in general, people of the world, clever or stupid, people who are closer to us in our lives, whether clever or stupid. And also when we just accept the life situation in general. We accept where life has put us right now, what situation life has put us in. When we accept all of these things 100%, I don't see anything more left to do. I don't see anything additional to that in terms of spiritual path, spiritual practice, spiritual evolution, right? Because because if our acceptance reaches that level, then we're not searching for anything. We don't even start this conversation, right? Right? Somewhere even this conversation we're having is predicated on the point that some of us think that there's still something more or something not quite right or somewhere to go, something more to become, right? If people didn't have these kind of ideas, then sages wouldn't appear and make themselves known, and certainly they wouldn't come out and speak for 45 minutes at a time and write books and all this kind of things, right? Vasishta says at the start of this quote, he says, blah, 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 are expressions used by teachers while instructing students. There is not an iota of truth in all of this. Many times in Yoga Vasishta, which if I haven't mentioned before, it's a great work which covers all the teachings that Vasishta gave to Lord Rama before Lord Rama really became Lord Rama and lived all of these leelas that we know him for. He says many times in this, he says that what I'm saying is not the actual truth. Whether I'm talking about liberation or bondage, whether I'm talking about consciousness, whether I'm talking about the fact that this is all like a dream, which he does like 1,000 times in this book. He says those things aren't the truth. He says these are just ways of trying to express something about how things are to people who need words. There comes a point, at some point in the book, where Rama asks him something and he just remains quiet. He doesn't say anything. And then when he got asked to explain himself with this, he says, there comes a point in this dynamic, in this connection between, whatever you want to call it, teacher and disciple, um, the guide and the one who's being guided. There comes a point when words are of no more use, right? And that's when somebody is recognized, recognize their own nature, or they're solidly, solidly, solidly on the track to recognizing their own nature, which basically means their acceptance has reached extraordinarily high levels. So they've got nothing to ask the guide, because you have to come to a point even before you awaken where you stop searching for anything, you stop seeking anything. On one hand, you're extremely alert, you're extremely aware, you're conscious, you're alive, but on the other hand, you're not searching for anything. You're not thinking, okay, there's some enlightenment waiting over there, or there's some enlightenment or some different state in the future that I'm walking towards. You're not walking anywhere. When you really got this practice of awareness down, all that's existing for you is what's there in that present moment. And still, nonsense thoughts will come, this and that, problems will come, fears will come, desires will come. And you just deal with what is there on your plate in each moment, and you live through that with as much awareness and acceptance as you can. This doesn't mean you're searching for anything, right? This just means you're living. Searching for something means you've got some sort of idea about something that's going to come in the future, or you've got some idea about some other kind of state that you're imagining. As long as you have that, as long as you have this kind of concepts, these kind of ideas, you won't get it, right? It's not like, okay, I think about enlightenment, think about enlightenment, dream about enlightenment, dream about enlightenment, pursue enlightenment. And then, oh, finally, one day, now I've got it. No, it doesn't work like that. Long before you actually get to that point, you have to give up your concepts, your ideas, your dreams, your imaginations, your ambitions. There's a point on the path where that stuff just, it may be there at the beginning, but all of that stuff just has to go out of the window. And you say that, okay, what have I actually got? What's in front of me? And you just live with what's in front of you, including your own awareness, including your own feeling of being you. And as you do this, you begin to feel more relaxed. It's not like you do this and it's like a Hail Mary or something. No, you feel it, right? So he says, just as ice is ever cool, the sage lives a natural life doing what is natural to him without aspiring for or abandoning anything. See, we can start living like that before we become a sage, right? Natural life. Natural life is given to us. We're alive, first of all. We're breathing, right? Where does the natural part come into it? Natural part is what's actually moving us. What is it when we have duties to take care of, needs to take care of? What's actually makes us take care of these things? If we've got somebody who's dependent on us, or we've got someone who we care for, or we've got just a good friend, what is it that makes us engage in these things in a proper way? When somebody asks us something, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? What is it that makes us either want to do that thing or not want to do that thing? What is it that's actually guiding us through life to do this and not to do this? We're all sitting together now in this talk, or we're listening to this talk later, or whatever. Why? Why are we doing this? What's guiding us to do this? Right. All of these things are natural movements, right? It's doing what's natural for you. So Sage, first of all, has got all of those things, right? And he doesn't think that there's anything more than that, right? Sage wakes up in the morning, you know, has something to eat, brushes his teeth, washes his face, goes out, goes to work, drives to work, walks to work, okay, or he works at home or whatever, does that work. When he's doing that work is all that exists for him. It's not, okay, I'm doing my work now, and then later when I get home, I'm going to do something more interesting. Or I'm going to work now for 2 months, 3 months, and then I'm going to go for 2 weeks on holiday. Or if I don't like holidays, I'm going to go on a pilgrimage and become more spiritual. Right? This person might sometimes go away. This person, when they finish work or whatever, they might chill out big time, big time. But when they're doing each of those things, that's all that exists for them. Likewise, work has finished, labor has finished, effort has finished for the today. Maybe they just sit and do nothing or watch TV or something. When they're doing that, the work won't exist for them. Tomorrow won't exist for them. Whatever, even if they've got like a real shit week ahead at work or whatever, it won't exist for them in that moment. What is there in front of them in that moment? That's all that will exist, right? So, got no ideas. They're not seeking anything. They've got no concept of enlightenment or liberation or bondage. They're just living from moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. And inside themselves, their mind has become so simplified, so dissolved that there's no conflict whatsoever. So in each moment of life, which includes action, which includes being with people, that includes talking with people, which includes going places, which includes making decisions, they they know what to do. It's clear their nature speaks to them. Just how our nature speaks to us. I haven't eaten all day. 6 o'clock at night, I haven't eaten all day. I'm hungry. Let me go and raid the fridge. Right. Or I've been doing this, that, and the other. I've been working manically. I didn't go to toilet. Now my bladder's exploding. I need to go. Right. Just as our nature talks to us naturally about these natural processes, it can always be like this. So that every discrete, distinct moment of time, in whatever situation, no matter how apparently simple, no matter how apparently complex, we clearly see what's to be done. And when there's that kind of clear seeing, there's no room for thinking, or the kind of thinking that we're used to. UG Krishnamurti said once, thought can never catch the movement of life. It's far, far, far too slow. Right? Why? Because our usual thinking, it's based on the past. It's based on past experiences, past memories, something that we've heard from someone in the past, someone else's experience, something that we've read in a book, something that some guru has told us. Right? But this kind of decision making, this kind of living that I'm talking about, it's not of the past. It's fresh. In each moment, it's fresh, it's alive. You say, I'm going to do this. I don't know why I'm going to do this. I haven't got any evidence. I haven't got any analysis. I haven't got a piece of paper where I say, oh, this person that I respect, this family member, this cultural thing, this said, oh, this is a good idea. All my religious scriptures said, oh, this is a good idea as well. This holy man said, oh, this is a good idea. So this is going to be the safe thing for me to do. No, none of that. That won't get you anywhere. Nowhere. All of that stuff will get you in terms of this kind of path, freedom. You have to get in touch with that unique spark within yourself. And for me personally, this unique spark has always been pushing me. I'd be in this situation, that situation, this situation, that situation. Then I'd get a feeling, now I need to go in this direction. And so many times the mind would panic when the mind still had some, when the mind still had some, how do you put it, had some weight to throw around at that time. Mind would panic. It'd say, whoa, 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 whoa. Can't do that. No, 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 not safe. Mine is literally like this. Mine says, no, 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 you can't do that. It's not predictable, not safe. This person won't agree with you. That person won't agree with you. This is uncharted territory. This is outside of comfort zone. Yeah, newsflash. This is what that spark of life does. This is how that spark of life breaks your mind up, dissolves your mind, breaks your patterns. You can't break your patterns just sitting on the floor in whatever, your meditation room, or when you escape to some supposedly spiritual destination, whether it's close to you, whether it's far away from you, whether you have to go to India. No, this breaking of patterns has to happen in life, and it has to happen with things that are important to you. It has to happen where you think, oh, I'm going to make this, and this. my life like this. Now this is quite comfortable. Now I know what I'm doing. And then this thing comes along and it just breaks it all to pieces, right? If you're sensitive, you can catch this spark within you and you'll make the decision. Now I'm going to go that way. I'll change. Now I'm going to go that way. If you're not sensitive enough to catch this wave, or if you're not brave enough to make these kind of decisions, then eventually what life will do, life will just come and it will just smash things to pieces. And then what? Then you'll say, I'm a victim. Then you'll curse God and you'll say, what have you done? What have you done to me? Why? Or you'll cry and moan and you'll say, oh, life is so tragic. This is how it works. So this breaking of patterns, this doesn't happen in an abstract sense or an analytical sense. It has to happen with things that are important for you. And why are these things important for you? Because they make you feel comfortable. They make you feel safe. They make you feel secure on a conditional level. On this path, the self, the true self, the natural state, God, consciousness, whatever you want to call it, it'll keep pushing you and say it'll say to you, can you live with no security? Can you live on faith alone? Can you live on trust alone? Can you live without guarantees? Can you live without promises? Can you live without expectations? Can your only security, your only solace in life just be your connection with me? If you're walking this path through the medium of connection with a guru, say, or master like Shirdi Sai Baba, it'll be that voice. It'll be that voice saying, look, only have your faith in me. Only have that as your security. Don't try and protect yourself in any other way. Only look to me, right? It could be that. Or if you don't want to use an external form to do it, you just say, my faith is in life, my trust is in life. My trust is in this essence with them. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's just whether you want to use a form or you don't, doesn't matter. So that's how it needs to be, right? It has to cut. It has to cut to the bone, this path. It can't be some superficial thing. It has to cut to the bone. It has to be painful. Tears have to be shed, right? It can't just be like, okay, this is my life and this kind of spiritual thing is my hobby on the side. Because if you were like me, I was looking at this life and I was saying there's nothing substantial in this to really think, okay, wonderful, wonderful. I've got another how many years of this. It was more of a dread, right? And then when I had this Kundalini awakening and stuff, it was a great relief to know that there's something more going on here. But I already had that kind of perspective. I didn't think much of this ordinary way of being. So just go to that last quote again. Well, this just liked. The characteristic of the ignorant man is that he strives to be other than what he is. So this also includes, okay, now I'm unenlightened, I want to be enlightened. Now I'm unawakened, I want to be awakened. Right. We have to, the path is so simple. We have to accept whatever is it right now, whatever is happening right now, whatever condition we are in, whatever condition our life is in, this is it for us right now. Right. We have to walk from there simply, moment by moment by moment by moment. And when you actually put yourself in that moment, so you haven't got this imaginary future or this imaginary state that you're aiming for, or you're not just distracting yourself by treating a guru or this and that activities like hobbies or distractions. When you're not living like that, you'll go deeper in yourself, and when you just go deeper, you'll things will start coming up. Your the quality of your presence will become stronger. Have you ever noticed that sometimes when you sit with this person or that person, and you're trying to talk to them maybe, and you see they're just not there. They're somebody else. They're somewhere else. Right. No point talking to them. They're not there. They're not listening. Right. So the quality of the presence is not strong. They're somebody else. It means they're saying, "Oh, look, I'm sitting here with you listening," but they're somebody where else. Again, what does it mean? Division, divided state. So the less we're in a divided state, first of all, by not seeking anything, not imagining that there's anything, not imagining that something else is coming, not imagining that some miracle is coming in the future, not by imagining that all going here, going there, all my life's going to change, right? By just being with what is, being with, the difficult parts of our life. We've all got those parts. We've got the nice parts, we've got the not so nice parts. But by fully being in those not so nice parts, fully accepting these things, we start to see ourselves on a deeper level. We start to feel ourselves on a deeper level. And only then can whatever kind of emotions are there, whatever kind of memories are there, whatever kind of traumas in there, these things can start getting exhausted. They can start getting felt properly then. If you keep just dividing yourself into bits and pieces, or you keep shortchanging yourself by imagining your spirituality, then you never actually feel what's got to be felt. And I guarantee what's got to be felt is not bliss, not realization, not all this stuff that's sold on the marketplace. It's pain, deep wounds that we've all got within us. Because if we didn't have these things within us, then we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be listening to this. We'd already be fine. Okay, what we call the ordinary condition, the unenlightened condition, the unrealized condition, the contracted condition, it's not just some random random thing, some random occurrence. No, it is composed of different things. It's composed of different issues. It's composed of very solid, clear fears of things. It's composed of very clear and solid, definable conflicts within ourselves, conflicts with others as well, comparisons, ownerships, entitlements, expectations, attachments, codependencies. The list goes on. All of these things I just mentioned bring suffering. But yet we still, when we're unaware, we indulge in all of these things. Ownership, for instance. People in relationships, whether romantic relationship, marriages, even parents with kids, they have this idea, I own this person. to some extent. I have some say over this person. I have some say over this person's life. And having that feeling gives such people some kind of sick, warped sense of enjoyment, right? And when you see, okay, I do own them to some degree. They do, if they're my child or something, they do listen to me. I have got control over them, right? And we feel in that moment some nice sense or whatever it is. But see, that thing makes you suffer. When that ownership looks in, oh no, it looks like they've got their own mind, they've got their own freedom. Oh no, they might leave me. The suffering is there. Then all of these things, all of these kind of patterns I've just mentioned, or comparison, if we want to play the comparison game, goes two ways. We think we're better than somebody else, we feel good. We think that we're worse than somebody else, we feel bad. So, what great Buddhist master said about all this samsara and samsaric experiences, it's like licking honey from a razor blade. Because in that first taste, it's sweet, but the aftertaste is just pain and blood, right? So this is how it is. Our state of being is whether we like it or not, whether we want to admit it or not, whether we think we're a saint already, okay? Whether we think our shit smells of roses or whatever it is, we have all of these things, or we have a selection, collection of these things. And these things, these patterns, a mixture of these patterns together, the way these patterns play themselves out in our lives, the way these patterns allow us to move through life, move through relationships, these things keep us busy, keep our mind busy day after day after day after day after day after day. And then one day we die, we drop dead. That's life. That's the life. That's the ordinary life. Right. So that's the ordinary way of living. How do we go beyond that? We can't just pretend all of these things don't exist and imagine ourselves a spirituality. Put these things on the shelf and pretend that we're now a spiritual person. No, we have to be in these things. We have to be in these scenarios. We have to live through these things, but with awareness. Mm. Look, now my ownership is flaring up. Now my comparison is flaring up. Now somebody is talking to me in a way that I don't like, but I don't dare say anything back to them. Now my gut instinct is telling me I need to go in this direction in life, but my mind is holding on so much to its security. All of these things, these things are the path. Really living through these things, unfolding through these things, right? Whatever we do in terms of sitting for meditation, chanting, going here or there, following this or that guru, all of this is only a support for living, actually, living the difficult parts of life, right? And to do this, we don't need to seek anything. We don't need to imagine anything. We don't say, oh, now I want to be enlightened, now I want to be liberated. If you say, I want to be liberated, for this to make sense, for this phrase to carry water, you have to see every tiny little aspect of yourself that you need to become liberated from. Every tiny aspect of yourself where you shrink down and become contracted, where you become fearful, where you become tense, where you become nervous, when you become conflicted within yourself, where you think one thing but you don't want to say it and you say another, when you're inauthentic, where you're disingenuine, when you're two-faced, all of these things. So forget about I want to be liberated, forget about I want to be enlightened, forget about I want to be awakened. What do I have that I need to be liberated from? Because dreaming of some imaginary liberation is not going to help us if we don't know what it is that we need to be liberated from. And what we need to be liberated from, it's playing out in every single second through our mind, it's playing out through our words, it's playing out through our actions. It's a movie. The story of our contraction, of our bondage, is playing every single day. We have been living this every single day of our lives. And yet, some people don't even know it exists. They still think problems out there, or they still think, oh, it's just a random occurrence that I'm not liberated being yet, that I'm not happy. It's just chance that some people are like this and I'm not. But maybe in 20 years, 30 years, if I keep walking the path, then I'll get there. It's not it's not like this, I'm sorry to say. Meditation, sitting down for meditation, being with ourselves, whether we do it when sitting, whether we do it when walking, whether we do it when driving. We should see, we should be able to sit, we should be able to see what within me. So say we just sit now. What is it within me that makes me feel, that makes me think that everything is not okay right now? What is it within me right now that makes me think that everything is not fine as it is? And I'm not just saying fine as, okay, we just say as words, like when somebody asks us, oh, how are you? And you say, oh, I'm fine. But you're terrible. You feel like shit. No, actually fine. What within us, if we just sit and be, gives us the feeling that everything is not absolutely perfect, beautiful, scintillating, blissful right now. What is it? What within us is opposed to the idea that everything is as it should be? And if you get into that state where everything is fine for you, you won't search for anything. You won't be listening to anybody talking about this stuff that I'm talking to, truth or this and that. Right? You won't be following any gurus. Right? None of this stuff. You'll be fine. You'll just be living. You'll just be as you are. Somebody wants to talk to you about these deeper aspects of life, you'll say what you think. Otherwise, you keep quiet or you say what's appropriate in whatever circumstances you're in. But you won't be in this game anymore of searching for something, seeking for something, working on yourself, evolving. No, 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 that'll be finished. So, this quote again, this quote which we should all, I don't want to say strive for, like it's some kind of, like it's something we can just catch a hold of. But he says the characteristic of the ignorant man is that he strives to be something other than what he is. What else does he say? Just as ice is ever cool, the sage lives a natural life doing what's natural thing without aspiring for or abandoning anything. What prevents us from living this kind of life? And he's not, and get it straight, he's not saying that the sage is doing anything specific. He's not saying whether the sage is a beggar or the sage is a king, the sage is a man, the sage is a woman. It doesn't say anything like that. The sage is, he, he just gets up. He does what needs to be done. He's not running after anything. He's not searching for anything. He's got no ambition towards anything. And neither is he. He's not pushing anything away either. He's not saying, "Oh, this is the thing that's stopping me from getting enlightened. Let me kick this out of my life." No. Things come, he lets them come. Things go, he lets them go. If this is the state of a sage, what what is stopping us from being in that state? And whatever is stopping us from being in that state, just by me saying this or us just sitting down to meditate once or twice, it's not going to go away overnight. This is a process. Trick is that we are aware of everything within us that's not allowing us to live that kind of life. And again, same pattern, whatever, it doesn't matter what pattern it is, when we become aware of it, the quality of that thing changes. Right. If I, for instance, turn these lights off in this room right now, everything will have a different quality. Right. For instance, I've got some paper here. If I turn this light off, I won't be able to read anything that's on this paper. I won't be able to see anything on this paper. There'll be a shape there, but it will mean nothing to me. But the paper is still the same. The words on the paper are still the same, but it doesn't have any light on it anymore. So you see, depending on how you're seeing something, with what you're seeing something, with what kind of awareness you're seeing something, it changes. And also that paper there, say it's a letter, somebody's wrote to me, I need to write back to them. If it's dark, then they're not going to be getting any reply. I'm not going to be writing anything because I can't read it. Right. Likewise, your patterns, your conflicts, your tensions, the things that keep you in a ball, unless you see these things, unless you face these things, they're not going to go anywhere. You can run here, you can run there. You can make this surface adjustment, you can make that surface adjustment. These things will continue to play out through different sceneries of life. And it's as simple as that. Right. So this this is what needs to be done. And it's not what anyone wants to do. It's very messy. And all of the things in our lives that we think that maybe our spirituality can be a bit of an escape from, a bit of a solace from. Like, okay, now hour I can go and sit and meditate. Hour I can go and sit to listen to Jack waffle on about some nonsense, right? You know, that's not the thing. The thing is what we think we have to escape from, right? That's the thing. That's the thing that you need to be in, and you need to work that thing out. You need to work out why that thing has that quality in your life, why that thing has that effect on your life, why that thing has that effect on you, why that thing brings tension, why it brings contraction, why it brings conflict. Because a sage, whatever you want to call it, liberated being, is not somebody who's like a really kind of clever person who just skillfully works out how we can escape all of these nasty bits of life. All of these, hard, annoying bits, tense bits of life, difficult bits. He's not just someone who skillfully works out how we can avoid all of these things. No, 100% not. Whatever that person's situation was, whatever their background was, whatever the people around them was, they've walked through that. They've walked through the fire of all of those things. And now you can look at, if you know somebody like this personally, if you know any sages, you can say, well, they never appear to have any problem with anything. That's not just because they're lucky and they have, fortunately landed in some perfect life scenarios. They have evacuated all of that problem causing energy, all of that conflicting energy from themselves. So now it doesn't matter where you put them anymore. They'll shine there and they'll be at ease wherever they are. So don't think that something in your life is an obstacle. And only if that thing wasn't there, then I'd be free. If only that thing wasn't there, then think, no, it's all within you, all within you, whatever is there. Right, I've said before, some of this sage is tremendous suffering, suffering that normal people, even on a physical level, wouldn't be able to go through. But but inside they don't suffer. So what more is there to say? I've about done my customary 45 minutes. I don't know how I speak every time, and it just ends up being exactly 45 minutes, even when I don't look at the clock. This is a this is a miracle. What do what they say? Yeah, I don't know what more to say. I wasn't sure what I was intending to say when I went into this, but you know, this is what I wanted to say. It might not be what everybody wants to hear, but it is what it is because there's no point talking about the absolute truth, the soul, consciousness. Because if we could all grasp that here, then there'd be nothing to talk about. If for one you'd all log off, you say, well, why have I got to listen to anyone else talk about consciousness? I'm already in it. I already am that. Right, first of all. So that's why I think this kind of talk happens. Because consciousness already is, but we're distracted from it and we've identified with loads of other stuff. So somehow we have to work our way through these things to get that. And doing that, sometimes this kind of, you know, carrot approach, you know, stroking, being nice, being sweet and tender. And sometimes this doesn't work. Sometimes to make these things happen, there has to be some kind of confrontational energy, right? Because when life teaches its greatest lessons, it's always in the form of some kind of something happening, something that we didn't expect, something that we didn't want. So sometimes when I'm writing on this group and stuff messages, the tone is a little bit confrontational because things need to be confronted, right? I hope that sometimes when people read these messages, they might feel something instead of just instead of just saying, "Oh, that's nice. Let me copy and paste it. I put it on WhatsApp status or something like that. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's so sweet. Isn't the divine truth of reality such a beautiful thing? Fantastic, enjoy, but that that doesn't necessarily help us become that. Being in discomfort, feeling discomfort, being confronted, and working our way through that, tunneling our way through that with our hands like this, day in, day out. Wake up, same things are on our mind, same things are gnawing at us, and we go again. Let me go through it again, another day. Let me work through it again. Let me try and approach it with more acceptance. Let me try and approach it with more awareness. Let me see if there's something more within me. If I've got a bigger part to play in this, whatever I think is not so good in my life. That's the proper attitude. That's the attitude of someone that'll eventually swim through all of this stuff and get to the other side. It's not easy. Not many people talk about this side of things because it doesn't sell. Talking about these kind of things doesn't sell. What sells is if you want to sell something, say something that people want to hear. Say something that makes people feel good, feel optimistic. Then you'll sell something. But I'm not interested in selling anything. I'm just interested in expressing um, what is true for me. And I don't care if anybody listens. If people come, they come. If they don't, they don't. It makes no difference. Okay. Okay. Anyway, enough's enough. Okay. Um, Good to see you all, people, whoever came, listened. Hope this was helpful. Hope it was confronting, most of all. I hope that some of these words actually make you feel something and may even make you uncomfortable at times. That's when something is happening, not when it's just like, oh, these are nice words, let me drift off into a kind of abstracted state. It doesn't work like that. I mean, everyone, each man to their own. But yeah, so anyway, lots of love, people. Wishing you a good week ahead. Be happy, be light, and be honest. Be honest to yourself. That's the most important thing on this path. Be honest to yourself about how you really feel about these things. This path can be very tricky. This path can be very tricky. Life can be very tricky. Life can put us in a deep, 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 deep comfort zone. Comfort zones even, and it can be very difficult to get out of these things. To get out of these things, it will actually feel like a death for us. We have to be prepared to go there. That's the real death. The real death is the death of all of this identifications, and beyond that is the freedom that can't be spoken of. Somebody like that is you can't bind them with anything. There's no bondage, no liberation for them. This is the condition of the soul. So may everybody connect to that as they see fit. So love, blessings, and we'll see you next week. Okay. Bye, bye, bye.